Welcome back to Hear Me Out by SHK. Today, we're going to be looking at whether Ruturaj Gaikwad should be batting at 3 or continue opening the innings for Chennai Super Kings. Now, it's a pretty well known fact that Ruturaj Gaikwad has been struggling this season for CSK. His strike rate has not been up to par, he's been struggling to find the gap. If you look at how Ruturaj Gaikwad plays in the power play, usually he likes to take a couple of balls, maybe get a single from the infield, take a quick single, and then he likes to score boundaries by finding the gaps, which is something that he's been struggling to do ever since IPL 2025. He's not somebody who goes over the top all the time like an Ayush Matre, who is the alternative for Ruturaj Gaikwad when it comes to opening the batting. Now, on the other hand, when we look at a player like Ayush Matre, he's had a phenomenal IPL season. Every time he's been brought into the power play, barring maybe the first two games, he has been very good. Especially that game against KKR, he gave them the push, a 38 of 17 balls, which was really what gave CSK the momentum to get them to a par score because they slowed down a lot during the middle overs. Added to that, Ayush Matre is looking like a very good pair for Sanju Samson. They've stitched together a lot more partnerships than Samson and Ruturaj have, and it's been a sort of an equal contribution between both. Whereas the partnerships that Samson and Gaikwad have had a higher share of Samson scoring runs because Ruturaj Gaikwad has been pretty slow. For a proper comparison of the three, you'll see that Ayush Matre has a power play strike rate of 170. Samson is at 159 and Gaikwad is at a measly 104. So this should show you where the three stand in terms of batting in the power play. Maybe this is just a bad season for Gaikwad. So is there really a case to be made for him to play at three? Does it fit into the system and the way that CSK are playing? That's what we're going to look at now. So if you look at Ruturaj Gaikwad's strike rate across phases, what you'll notice is that he strikes at 134 in the power play, 131 in over 7 to 10, and there's a very quick acceleration to 168 in 11 to 15, and in the death he's striking at 181.6, which is incredible. So what you'll notice is that uh, there is a slowdown after the power play for Gaikwad, and this does come down to the fact that in Chennai, over 7 to 10, you do need to slow down a little bit. Spinners come into the question, spinners come into play, and they usually dominate this phase, and they used to choke the batsman. So that could probably explain his strike rate of 131.2. Added to that, if you look at the way Gaikwad plays, he is a slow starter against spin. The first five balls that he faces against spin, he has a strike rate of only 100. So he goes at about a run a ball. After he's faced 6 to 10 balls, he goes at a strike rate of 126. And after 11 balls, he's striking at 165. So he's a good hitter of spin once he's gotten settled, but he needs about 5 to 10 balls in order for him to get settled and start hitting spin. Now, the ideal place for Ruturaj Gaikwad to do this is the 7 to 10 phase because runs are not going to come very easily in that phase either way. You don't need spin hitting in that phase. You need somebody who can anchor you through the phase without you losing a wicket on one end and get quick singles and doubles with which Rutraj Gaikwad can do. Now let's add to that the fact that the way the match usually has to go in Chennai is that the first 6 overs you need an acceleration. You need to get 56 to 60 on the board, especially if you're CSK and you're thinking I need about 10 runs above par so that I can defend it, which is 200. 56 to 60 is ideally what you want to get. Between 7 and 10, you try and get to a 95, and there you try not to lose wickets because then you can accelerate towards the end. So what that means is that Ayush Matre and Samson can give CSK the start that they need because they're striking so high. That'll also mean that more often than not, Rutraj Gaikwad will find himself in the fifth or sixth over of the power play, which should give him a start. And then when he can take his time against spin and occupy one end while one of Samson or Matre is batting on the other and going hard against spin. Beyond that, if you look at the rest of the CSK batting lineup, which includes Sarfaraz Khan, Devol Brevis, and Shivam Dubey in the middle order, all are very good players against spin. They they have incredible spin hitting capabilities. They can hit the ball a long way. So what you need to do is have one player who's rotating the strike on one end and keeps one end occupied so that these players can confidently play their game without worrying whether wickets are going to fall in clumps. So, what does that mean for CSK? Should they drop the opening pair of Samson and Gaikwad, which is something that they've put a lot of faith in, and push Gaikwad down to three? It's not as simple as this video has made it out to be so far, because we also need to see how well Gaikwad has done at number three. If you look at Gaikwad's career summary at three, he's played 15 innings at an average of 29.71. He's got 550, so it's not a position that he's completely unfamiliar with, but it's not a position that he's done too great in, because his career average in T20s has been 38, and this is lingering around 30. But when you consider that if he does give you an average of 30 for the remaining, say, for the remaining 9 games, that gives you 270 runs. And he's doing it at a strike rate of 142, which is pretty high considering the circumstances and considering where he's at in the power play. A position at 3 will also give Gaikwad a little bit more time, because you don't have the run scoring pressure of the power play and he can get settled. What this will allow him to do is get runs on the board, get runs behind his bat. Because for Gaikwad, I don't really think it's a huge form issue. I think it's a runs issue. Like we saw with Suryakumar Yadav right before the World Cup, he needed runs behind his bat for him to find himself again. And this is really the best opportunity for Ruturaj Gaikwad to do that. It's also a bonus that Ayush Matre is somebody who fits the modern power play very, very well, because he's somebody who likes to go over the top, hit it above the infield, and he's good against the shorter deliveries. Why this is important is because in the power play, why this is important is because early on what we've seen this Chennai pitch do, and a lot of pitches that CSK are going to play in, we've seen teams come in and bowl the hard length uh, on a hard length, good length, or slightly short of good length, which has aided bowlers. And Matre has been incredible at taking bowlers down when they hit that length. So, to conclude, what is Rutraj Gaikwad's ideal entry point? I would say if there's an early wicket in the power play, he has to go in. That there's no doubt about that. And his entry point will span all the way up until I think the eighth over. If CSK get to a no-loss score after the first 8 overs, Ruturaj Gaikwad should not be coming in. He should not be coming in because he's a very slow starter, and when you're aiming for scores uh, 200 and above, you can't give a batter that much time, especially when you consider that you've got Devol Brevis, Sarfaraz Khan, and Shivam Dubey, all three batters who are hitting the ball well, who are there further down the order. So what this will allow CSK to do is to uh, continue this aggressive batting mindset that they've come with this year. And in my opinion, Ruturaj Gaikwad should go down to three and let Samson and Matre open the batting for Chennai Super Kings going forward. If you disagree with me, or if you think there are any other points that I should have made, feel free to comment it down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.